friends, happy Tuesday. Today I wanted to talk about all of the digital manga reads that I have done recently. I have read quite a few, I think. I sampled two of Dessert's newest shoujo releases. I guess all of Dessert is shoujo, but I sampled two of Dessert's newest releases. If you're unsure what Dessert is, it is a manga magazine, which is a curation of similar enough manga series. So think series like Love That's an Understatement and Choking on Love, How I Met My Soulmate. All of those in Japanese are published within the Dessert manga magazine. So if you like one of them, you'll probably like one of the others. I'm looking at two, or I did look, and I'm going to be talking about two of the newer, new to me at least, series in Dessert. I also read one full Margaret series that I liked, but it was kind of heavy. And then I'll talk about the ones that I didn't like all that much and I did drop halfway through. Usually I don't talk about the ones that I drop, I just leave them out. But I feel like it's something to talk about, so we'll look at everything. Starting off with my two Dessert, because I do really like just about all of the Dessert series. They have recently begun publishing more BL. They didn't used to do that, but I've noticed, I think there's 3 new BL series with them. I have not read any of those yet, I'm not usually drawn to BL. I need it to be a little bit horror to enjoy it. I've noticed that's just my preference, but I will try them out eventually because I do like Dessert series, but we're not looking at them today. First one up is Ookasanchi no Hikari-kun. I read just the first chapter, and just overall, I do recommend this one. I did enjoy it. I did think it was fun. This is a high school romance series following a girl and the son of her landlord. Okay, now I'm going to talk about what happened in chapter 1. There will be like light spoilers just because I do want to talk about what happens. So in chapter 1, because that was all that was for me to read. Also, I do read everything on Pixiv Comics. I will leave a link in the description, but it is all in Japanese because it's a Japanese comic. But okay, what happens in chapter 1? We follow our female lead, Subaru, as she is kind of forced to live on her own for the very first time in her life at the very young age of, I think, 16. She's just going into high school, which is grade 10 in Japan. And I think you're 16 when you're in grade 10. So she's about 16 living on her own for the first time. She wasn't abandoned by her parents. What happened was her parents, more so her dad, trusted one of his friends a little bit too much, lent him money, and the friend took the money and ran, leaving the family with no money. The father thinks he did a good thing by helping out a friend, thinking like, you gotta help people when times are tough. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Subaru sees her dad as a little bit too trusting, a little bit too naive. Like, what do you mean you just gave away all of our money to your friend who he duped you, like he ran away? But her father doesn't see it like that, so they're kind of at odds. The parents have to go to Tokyo. They have to run away to Tokyo to make more money so that they can be financially afloat again. But Subaru just got into high school. And high school in Japan is a little bit different than in Canada, where you kind of have to apply. Like you can't just easily move and get into the high school, apparently, according to this manga. I know it is a little bit different depending, but the high school that Subaru is going to, she had to apply. And it seems like a really good high school. She doesn't want to have to leave and go to some random school in Tokyo. She wants to go where she worked to get into. So she couldn't follow her parents. So they worked out a plan. They didn't abandon her, okay? Because I know that happens a lot, especially in shoujo manga. It's like, where are the parents? Her parents, we know where they are. Her parents set her up with an apartment. They talk to the landlord. They explain to the landlord, like, they give her like the Cliff Notes version of what happened. They explain Subaru is on her own now. Please look after her. And they dip to Tokyo. So now Subaru is living on her own for the first time all of a sudden, like the night before she starts her high school life, which is kind of exciting. Like everything's new. Everything's extra new now because not just high school, but she's living on her own now. But as I think most 16-year-olds would be, she's a little bit lost. She doesn't really know how to live on her own. She's not really good at cooking, laundry. Like there's a lot to do when you live on your own. And a lot of it you don't know that you have to do until you live on your own. Like, so there's a big learning curve, especially when you're so young. And she's struggling, but one day when I guess the first day, when she gets herself like kind of settled and goes out, or almost goes out to pick up some groceries, this random, very handsome boy comes with all of her groceries and some snacks for her, and he introduces himself as Hikari, the landlord's son. He gives her all the stuff, says bye, and then leaves. She's a little bit confused, but she takes it. But she doesn't eat the food because it's kind of like, do you eat food that some random man just gave you? Probably not. But again, she can't cook, and that's the only food in her house. But next day at school, she's trying to have a good very, very first day at high school when she sees a familiar face. It's Hikari. They end up being at the same school. They're the same age. Like, I think he's a year older. They're about the same age. Can't remember. That's okay. They're roughly the same age. They're not in the same class, but they are the same age. And Hikari is like the sun. Okay, like he is so bright and happy. He's blinding to look at. He's so kind and caring. Whenever he sees Subaru, he really tries to include her in everything because he wants to take care of her. That's just his personality. Subaru doesn't like that because she doesn't want to end up like her father, who got duped from trusting people too much. So she has her walls built up really, really high. Hikari sees that, and he just tries to bulldoze his way through her walls to help her. But so they're kind of at odds. He keeps trying to invite her out. She keeps being like, stay away from me, like stop inviting me out. I don't want to be friends with you. But she doesn't really last all that long because again, she's on her own. So one day, slight spoilers, I guess, but it's just chapter 1. She loses her key. And her options are search the city to find the key until you find it. Maybe you won't find it and you'll have to sleep outside. Or admit to Hikari or his parents that she lost her key. What do you think she did? So she's out all night looking for the key, and eventually she climbs this like pole trying to get back into her apartment. And as she's mid-climb, Hikari spots her from the outside. And from there, he decides like, yep, okay, like I'm helping you. I don't care if you don't want my help. I'm gonna help you. And then we see him. He promises to teach her how to basically live on her own. And she apologizes for being so standoffish. So at the end of chapter 1, they're on good terms. And that's chapter 1. I really liked it. I thought it was cute. I do like Subaru as a main character because she feels flawed, but she also has some good characteristics. She feels like a real character. I did like that. She doesn't seem like a bad character. She just seems like her walls are up. She's pretty guarded, which makes sense because of what happened to her father. Hikari is also, I really like him. I do think he's a little bit, like he has difficulties reading the room, I would say. Like, for example, it's clear that some of the girls have a crush on him and he just can't tell. And he will call out to Subaru, which makes the girls then target Subaru because Hikari's attention is on Subaru and not the other girls. And he doesn't see that. Everybody else sees that, but he doesn't see that. So there are like a couple things like that where it's like, okay, like I know you're being kind, but you're being a little bit too much right now. But he does admit to being a little bit overprotective. So I'll give him that. I think they're cute together. I don't know. I like the dynamics. I like the like landlord son and new tenant dynamic. I think that's fun. So I will be continuing. And as of volume 1, there's no romance, or as of chapter 1, there's no romance because it's chapter 1. We're just getting started. But I do still think it was a solid chapter. I probably see myself buying the physical when it comes out because I did like it. Okay, the next one is probably the most exciting one. I should have started with this, but I didn't. That's okay. If you're a fan of Futarijime Romantic, this is the author's newest series called Horeta, Hareta, Panta. It's so good. It's so good. I sampled just the first chapter because, again, it's pretty new. All that was free to read on Pixiv was chapter 1, so that's what I read. But really good. It is pretty different, like vibe-wise, from Futarijime. But I think if you like one, you'll like the other because they're by the same author. Like I think they're both really good. So what happens in chapter 1 of Horeta, Hareta, Panta? And I'm so bad with names. What is the male lead's name in this one is hard for me to... Ubukata. I've never met an Ubukata, so it's hard for me to remember. So In this series, we have our female lead, Hana, who works part-time as a panda. So like she's a mascot character. So it's like it's a samurai panda. So it's like a big costume with like a little like top knot on the top of its head. It's really cute. But looking at the panda, you don't know who's inside. Like it's a mascot costume. There are rules to manning or like being inside of the panda. Some of them are things like you're not allowed to talk. If you are in danger, do blah, blah, blah. You like make sure nobody knows like there's a person inside the panda. Because there's magic to it. Like if kids don't realize there's a person manning a mascot, it's just a mascot to them, like Mickey Mouse or something. And she takes the rules very seriously. So she works very hard at it. She's a great panda manner. I don't know how to describe the job, but she's really good at the job. Personality-wise, she's pretty quiet. Oftentimes her voice doesn't really make it to people's ears. So working in a role where you're not allowed to talk, perfect for Hana. So she's so good at it. One day, though, she's working as a panda when she gets toppled over by two young kids because she's a samurai panda. Like it's just asking to be fought with. And as she's getting like abused by some children, I'm laughing, but it was kind of sad. It was a comedic thing. It wasn't like a big deal, but she gets saved by some random man. Because she has a giant panda head on top of her head, it's hard to see. It's dark. It's like things are kind of cloudy, but she can see a little bit. And what she does see is a very familiar uniform, her school uniform. So she knows it's a boy from her school. And this boy comes up, shoos the kids away, helps the panda back up. She says thank you. And she hands him a little like panda charm as a way of saying thank you. Because again, she can't talk. The two part ways. Next day at school, her class merges with another class for reasons. And after they merge, she hears Ubukata talking about how he saved a panda the last night. And he's showing off the charm that Hana gave him while in panda form. Now, Hana and Ubukata don't know each other, but Ubukata is pretty popular at school. He's like super handsome. He has a lot of girls crushing on him. Like it's a whole thing, as with all male leads, I guess. But so she recognizes him instantly as that's the guy who saved me. Like, oh my God. He doesn't know Hana because again, she's in panda uniform, but he thought the panda was really cute. He's really happy with his charm. Like he seems like a really sweet guy. And Hana's like, oh my God, like that wasn't him. They don't talk at all. At all. Going back to work again, she's in panda form and she runs into Ubukata in his work uniform. He works at the ice cream store there. And Ubukata is like really, really interested in the panda for some reason. He's making conversation with her. He knows she can't talk, but he's still trying to, like, she's writing down her answers so that they can kind of have a conversation. And he's being like, how old are you? Like, what's up? What do you like to do? Like, let's chat. And it's a really sweet way. Like, it doesn't feel like he's trying to pick her up. He genuinely feels like interested in the panda. And it was really fun to watch. And she's trying to talk to him too. Like they're having a conversation, I guess, where one person speaks, the other person writes. But it is cute. And they slowly become on better and better terms while at work, panda and ice cream salesman. After work, like a lot, I'm not talking about everything that happens, but after work, Hana, the girl, the panda, and Ubukata run into each other at the train station because they work basically the same hours. They were hanging out all shift, though Ubukata doesn't know that. And Ubukata gives Hana a little present because earlier something happened. Like she lost something. He got her a new one, basically. And it was really nice. He was talking about like, here, like I saw you lost this. Here you go. Like, don't lose that one. It was really sweet. And she's kind of flustered. And he notices the like body expressions that she does when she gets flustered are the exact same as the panda when the panda gets flustered. And he tells her, like, you really resemble that panda. And she's like, oh no. Because again, there's magic to it. She doesn't want anybody to know that she is the one who is inside of the panda costume. So she's just like, what a coincidence. Oh. And then they part ways. And that was chapter 1. I really, really like it. I was a little bit afraid when Ubukata was first introduced that he would be a little bit more standoffish towards Hana. Just he's so handsome and he's like, I don't know, just everything felt like he was going to be a little bit more like not kind, I guess. I thought it would be more like he really, really likes the panda, but he doesn't like the human. And then things would go on. And then when he realized the human and the panda are one and the same, then he'd be like, oh, and then he would change his tune. But thankfully, because that could have been good, but I'm preferring how it's going right now and better. He really likes the panda and he's kind to Hana. He likes the panda a lot more. Clearly, I think he likes the panda more than anybody in his life right now, just based on how he's acting towards it. But I do really like how he treats both of them. They're different, but they're both kind, and I really like that. I think Hana is also a very cute female lead. I love her design. I like both of their designs, but I like Hana's design just a little bit more. And I am excited to see more of her because we don't know too much about, I guess, either of them, but I'm excited to learn more about Hana because I think this was good. This was definitely my top digital read of the past week-ish, but it was only a chapter. This is also one I will absolutely be buying the physical for. I really liked it, but I can also see this being a shorter series similar to Futarijime. Just, I guess we'll see how the next few chapters go. Usually I'm pretty good at guessing how long a series is going to go, like more or less. Unless it gets like axed right halfway through. But usually I'm good at guessing. So I can see this being a shorter one, like as of volume 1, but we'll see. My next read was my only, I think, full volume digital read. This one is a heavy one. It comes with, I'll give a trigger warnings list, but the title is Yojouhan no Ibara Hime. Trigger warnings, because it needs trigger warnings. There is assault of a minor, or like alleged assault of a minor by an older man. There is extreme poverty, parental abandonment, and harassment by a manager to a young employee. Those are like, I think, the big trigger warnings. It's not like graphic at all, but those things happen. It's a bit upsetting. So just if that would upset you, skip to the next one. So what is this one about? Again, it's heavy. Like it goes places. This one follows I'm bad with names. I have to look it up. I wrote them all down, so I was ready. This one follows a female lead called Shinra. Shinra has no father and a mother who abandoned her or continuously abandons her like every few days to few months. Her mother, whenever she gets a new boyfriend, she leaves Shinra at home by herself with no way to fend for herself and moves out with the boyfriend. And then when the boyfriend eventually dumps her, she comes back home, is so kind to Shinra, apologizes for leaving her, promises from now on it's just you and me. Until she gets a new boyfriend, takes all the money that Shinra has saved up, and then goes to the next boyfriend. And it's a vicious cycle of that. It's awful. Shinra has had a heck of a life, so she hasn't been able to depend on anybody because she can't even depend on her own mother because her mother keeps abandoning her. It's very, very sad. Any money that she is able to save up, if it's not taken by her mother, is spent on the bare basic necessities. So think rent comes before all. Rent, hydro, rent and hydro, and then food are like the basics of the basics. Because she's so young, she can only work like part-time minimum wage jobs. And so she can't make all that much money. So the food that she does eat isn't all that good. Things like Starbucks or makeup, to her, are luxuries that she will never, ever be able to afford. Because again, she can barely keep herself fed. It's been a very, very hard life for her. And she really isn't all that fond of people, specifically her richer classmates, who have all of these basic necessities and they don't even think anything of it because it's a given to them because they were born with it. They don't have to work for anything because their parents gave it to them. So there is a really big divide between most of her classmates, and then her rich classmates. because she sees everybody else, or most other people, especially the richer ones, as different from her because they've had different upbringings. She had tried when she was younger to make friends, but because of those like huge differences, there were a lot of like miscommunications. A lot happened. It was just, she's decided it's better for her to just be on her own. She understands herself. That's all she needs. One day at school, there were 3 very, very handsome boys called like the big 3, or like the group of 3. There are 3 boys. One of them, I think his name is Dai. Yep, I remembered. His name is Dai, and he is like the leader kind of this group of 3 boys. All 3 ridiculously handsome, ridiculously rich. And again, it's because their parents are rich, not because of them, because they're high school students. They're so handsome and they're so rich that they're bored of life. Oh no, like, woe is me. I have so much money and I'm bored. And one day, Dai is on the rooftop watching Shina as they don't know each other at this point, as she's running. No, she's not running. He's watching her from the rooftop as she's walking with a bento, which is like a little lunchbox, as she trips and drops it on the ground. But the rice was on the ground and then the meat was on top. And if she didn't eat that, she wouldn't be eating at all that day. So she eats the meat off of the top of the rice, thinking like it didn't touch the ground. The rice touched the ground, but the meat didn't. So the meat's safe. Dai sees that, thinks it's hilarious. And he waits until after school, finally finds Shina, walks up to her and tells her, "Hey, I watched you eat meat off the ground. That was hilarious. Let's be friends." Which he says that to somebody. And Shina tells him, like, basically, like, screw off. Like, you thought that was funny. That was my only meal of the day. Like, I'm so poor. That was my only meal of the day. And you think that was funny. I didn't do that for your entertainment. Like, go away. And she storms off. And Lai is like, oh, that's the first time in my life somebody has turned my friendship down. Like, he's so privileged. And his 2 friends, they feel kind of like, I don't want to say lackeys, but they just kind of go along with whatever Dai does, at least in this volume. They're like, oh, that girl, she doesn't want to be your friend. Why? Oh my God. And from there, Dai works very hard to be involved in Shinla's life. And it, like, starting off, it is because he is just so bored. He wants something to do and he thinks she's interesting. But as time goes on, I think at least it becomes clear that he actually does have an interest in her beyond thinking that she's amusing. So, slightly more spoilers. At work, because again, she works a part-time job, she is being harassed by her older management. He wants to date her, if you know what I'm saying. And he's a little bit too touchy, he's a little bit inappropriate with his words, and she can't really do anything about it because she needs the money. That's her only job. So she just kind of grits her teeth and goes through it. Dai finds out about this, offers to like him right away, and Shina goes, "No, I need my money." So Dai says, "Okay, how about we him socially?" And Shina goes, "Okay, like I guess," because she is struggling, like it is a pretty bad situation. So they film the harassment going on, upload it, and it becomes very, very viral. So the manager is no longer with us socially. And we learn like a darker side of Dai here, because Shina is kind of not remorseful, but she says, like, did we go a little bit too far because he ended up getting doxxed from this? People know where he lives. Like, is it okay? And Dai goes, I think he deserves to live like looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life. If anything, I don't think we went far enough. And he has this like darkness in his eyes when he's saying it. Like he becomes a little bit scary at that point. And Shina's like, oh, like you're a little bit scary there. Okay. We do see this side of Dai periodically throughout this volume. And that's why I like him. Because he is a little bit like, oh, like at first I thought he was just a very, very shallow, rich character doing something for fun. Then I thought he was, okay, he actually is a little bit caring. Now it's like, okay, like you're a little bit spooky. So I do like that he has different sides to him. And I am excited to learn more about him. But he is not my favorite character. I really like, what's his name? His name is Kanan. So we have Lai, the main one, Kanan, who is like the calm, kind one, and Hyake, who is like the needlessly angry, kind of vicious one. I don't like Hyake. I don't know why he's so angry all the time. So we're not gonna talk about him. But Kanan is the sweetest sweetie pie. He is so kind. When they first go to Shinla's teeny tiny apartment, they're like, wow, it's small in here. There's nothing here. When's the last time you ate? Like, they're kind of making her feel bad because, like, she hasn't eaten. She knows it's small. She knows it's like not a great apartment. Like, stop talking about it. Dai offers to buy her food. She doesn't want a handout though. She wants to work her way out of poverty herself. She doesn't want to feel indebted to anybody. She wants to do everything herself. Because again, when she counted on her mom left. She doesn't want to count on these guys for them to just leave. So when Dai offers, he offers her cash, no. Offers to buy her food, no. But when Kanan hands her his leftover onigiri, his rice ball from lunch, that's not really a handout. That's just your leftovers from lunch. He hands that to her and says, this isn't a handout, just I couldn't eat it. Do you want it? And she takes that. So I really like Kanan because he's good at reading the room. He understands really, really quickly that Shinla doesn't want a handout. She needs help. She needs friends, but she doesn't want to feel like a charity case. He understands that so quickly. And I liked that. I like that about him. And I'm really excited to see more of him. There were a couple other scenes scattered here and there throughout the volume of his kindness. I want him to be the male lead. I don't know. I feel like Dai is going to be the male lead. And I'd be okay with it. But I really want Kanan, the dark-haired one. I like a dark-haired male lead. I want him to be the male lead. So we'll see how that goes. I did notice, I will say, typically in shoujo manga, when there is a poor character, typically, for instance, I know she's not poor, all that poor, compared to Shinla at least, but we're on High School Host Club, very different series, but typically, in my experience, we'll see a character who doesn't have all that much money be brought up against uber rich characters. And typically, the female lead's poorness will be seen kind of as a comedic aspect. Think Haruhi wanting the fancy tuna, kind of. And all the boys are throwing themselves over because she wants fancy tuna, and I think that's cute. Typically, we'll see it as a comedic aspect. They'll go at odds. The boys will throw money at her to show her a good time. And things are pretty lighthearted. Sometimes they will get into discussing the social differences between the, I don't even want to say poor, but just the non-rich versus the rich. But typically it's more lighthearted. This series is very, very different in that we have a very, very poor character with very, very rich characters. There's not any comedy in this one. And we're shown time and time again about how different their worlds are, where she lives in a little bubble because she can't afford to leave her bubble. So she does really, really need help exploring the world. In this volume, again, slight spoiler, in this volume, she is told of a quick, easy way to make some money. And it's called papakatsu, or sugar babying, where you don't have to do explicit things, but it could be even as simple as having a coffee with a man, a high school girl, it's a 16-year-old high school girl, having coffee with a 40-year-old man. And it's a date. And they'll pay you for it. And she hears that, thinks, all I have to do is drink coffee with a guy? Oh my God, I can do that. She doesn't understand, what kind of people do you think would use that service, typically? So it does go into darker themes, but I did like that because I liked that it didn't make light of the fact that, she is really poverty-stricken. She's had a very, very hard life. Meeting rich people isn't necessarily going to make her life all that better. She also has a lot of pride where she doesn't want to just let these people save her. She wants to save herself. So I do like her as a female lead. I am excited to see where it goes. I know it does get darker, but I'm ready for it. I did really like it. Now moving on to the series that I either sampled the entirety of the first chapter or I dropped partway through, and I will not be continuing. These ones are going to be a lot shorter just because I dropped them. I didn't like them. Disclaimer. I know everybody likes different things. These are just ones that I didn't like. All of these that I'm going to be talking about, there's only 3, I think. No, they're not bad. They weren't for me personally. I just didn't like them. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about why personally they're not for me. I'm always very careful because I know I would be upset if somebody said, like, I hate this series. Like, I hate Colette. You can't really see it. I hate Colette. It's the worst series ever. Like, I would cry. So none of these are bad. They just weren't for me. Disclaimer. First one up is called Chouka Hanka. And I can show it. Can I show it? It's this one if you know it. I picked it up because I really like Yakuza romances, and that's why I picked it up. Yeah. My reasons for not enjoying it, I did get through, I think, the entirety of the first chapter, but I downloaded the first volume, and I did not read it all. The female lead is 17, but she looks like a 10-year-old to me. She's depicted so young. She's always sucking on a lollipop. She has really big eyes. She's really cutesy. And she's kidnapped and looked at in an adult way right away. So she's treated like an adult. Things get kind of steamy. And there's a big age gap. And she looks 10 years old. And I just can't. I really, really don't like age gap romances to begin with. If it's like a vampire romance where he's like mentally 500 but physically 20, I can get behind that. I can suspend my disbelief or whatever. But in a series like this, where she clearly looks like a child and he's clearly an adult man, I can't get past that. And again, it gets steamy right in the first chapter while she looks like a child. And I can't. I know she's almost an adult, but still, it's not for me. And it was kind of disappointing because the way the story kind of goes is she's at school, gets kidnapped, brought in by her captors. Oh no. And then falling in love with her captor. Typically, I like that. I didn't like how it was depicted. Personally, I don't like things that get steamy right away. I can sometimes get behind a little bit of steam if it's done slowly but surely and tastefully. Typically, I don't like steam, but I can get behind it sometimes. But when it's just thrown in your face like that, it wasn't my cup of tea. Next one that I did not finish for similar reasons. This one is called 大嫌いなままでいいですので、私と子供を作ってもらえませんか? And I'm laughing because it would translate to something like, even if you don't like me, like staying in a state of dislike towards me is fine. But would you please have a child with me? Or it's fine if you hate me, but have my child, please, kind of. That's the title. Can you guess why I didn't like it? This one, I downloaded it because it was free. Free first chapter. We have a young aristocratic woman who really wants to marry for love. And she has this kind of arch nemesis where they've never gotten along. He's always mean to her, but surprise, surprise, he's only mean to her because he likes her, which is okay. And she wants to marry for love. She doesn't really like him, but he likes her, but he's hiding his feelings for her. She has a dream where the world's gonna end unless she has a baby with him. And then she's like, oh no, I gotta save the world. And she goes up to him and she straight up tells him, please have my babies. And he's like, I'm gonna make you understand what that does to a man, that phrase. And then that was the first chapter. I'm not continuing that. That was funny. It was funny, but I'm not continuing it. And then last one, the previous one, I think I did read the full chapter. This one, I did not read the full chapter because, so this one's called 弁護士. No text is small. 弁護士お兄ちゃんと秘密のお遊び. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of the title when I downloaded it. I downloaded it because it was a free sample. It would translate to something like secret playtime with my lawyer brother. So sometimes in manga, brother sister can be close friends, which is why I'm okay. I looked past it. They're not close They're step siblings, but at least they're not physically related or blood related. This one tells the story of two step siblings. There's a pretty big age gap. He's quite a bit older than she is. Their parents got remarried when he was in uni, she was in high school. She fell in love with him at the first sight, but he just saw her as his cute new younger sister. Now that they're older, they're both working. He is very overprotective of her. He still sees her as his cute little sister. They have dinner together all the time. They're very, very close sibling-wise. Okay? Sibling-wise. Okay? They're step siblings. Okay? But she lets it slip that she has feelings for somebody. She has a crush on somebody. And he's like, who? Tell me who. And she's like, it doesn't matter who. He goes, no, it matters. Tell me who. And then he goes, I hated it. I really didn't like this because they're step siblings. And he's like, okay, well, so you won't tell me who. That's fine. Do you want me to show you what you should do if you like somebody? And then, yeah. And I stopped reading. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I liked the cover as part of it. Can I show the cover? Just I thought it was a nice cover. I do like the art. I thought it was nice. But yeah, I got a little bit steamy too quickly. Even if it took time, I'd step siblings. I don't like that. So yeah. There are like some step sibling funny or like step siblings, but not really. Series that I can get behind, like Spring Storm and Monster, where that's really different and it's not steamy and it's more like, I don't know, like there's a relationship and there's actual feelings and meanings to it and it doesn't feel wrong, at least to me. So like sometimes I can get behind it. They're not technically even step siblings really, so it's even better. But this, I couldn't. I had to stop right away. And that's everything I sampled. The ones that I dropped, I won't talk about on my blog at all just because I dropped them. I don't think it's really fair to give them ratings because I will not be continuing. I don't want to think about them again. But yeah, that's everything that I sampled digitally.